Welcome to A Course in Miracles in Practice, brought to you by the World Harmony Project. This podcast is all about taking the core principles of A Course in Miracles and putting them into action through the workbook lessons.
Together, we'll lovingly examine one lesson at a time, offering insights and encouragement for your journey.
We're thrilled to have you here.
So here we are at lesson 120 in the course.
Yes, another review lesson.
Exactly. And for this first part, let's just focus on reviewing this lesson itself.
Sounds good. It brings together two powerful ideas.
Okay, I'll read it straight through first. Lesson 120. 109. I rest in God. I rest in God today, and let Him work in me and through me, while I rest in Him in quiet and in perfect certainty.
There's powerful imagery there.
Then it continues. 110. I am as God created me.
A core identity statement.
I am God's son. Today I lay aside all sick illusions of myself and let my Father tell me what I really am.
Laying aside those illusions. Crucial.
And the practice instructions? On the hour, I rest in God. On the half hour, I am as God created me.
Simple, direct instructions for the day.
So reflecting on this, these two ideas, I rest in God and I am as God created me, they seem deeply connected.
Oh, absolutely. They really are interwoven. This idea of resting in God is not about doing nothing.
Right, it's not passive in that sense.
It's more like a deliberate letting go, surrendering that constant ego-driven need to control everything, to figure it all out ourselves.
And in that quietness, that trust.
Yes, that perfect certainty it mentions, that's when we allow something else, something deeper, Him, as the lesson says, to work through us.
And that connects directly to I am as God created me, doesn't it?
It flows right into it. When you stop trying so hard to define yourself based on the ego's, sick illusions.
Sick illusions is such a strong phrase.
It is, because they are distortions. They obscure the truth. When you lay those aside, you actually create the space to hear or to recognize who you truly are according to your source.
So it's an act of receptivity, resting but also opening up to receive that truth.
Letting the Father tell you what you really are, instead of clinging to those false self-concepts based on separation, lack, guilt, all those illusions.
Okay, that sets the stage nicely. Now, I was thinking we could shift gears a bit and talk about something broader, but essential for really getting the course.
Oh, what did you have in mind?
The importance of context. How understanding the specific way the course uses language is just critical.
Oh, absolutely vital. That's a great topic because the Course does use words we all know: love, peace, world, sin, forgiveness.
Familiar words, yes.
But it often pours very specific, sometimes quite different meanings into them, meanings that fit within its own unique thought system.
And if you don't grasp that specific context, if you just take the words at their everyday face value,
then you risk really misunderstanding the message. You might turn these incredibly profound spiritual invitations into something much more superficial.
like just another self-help technique.
Exactly. You could easily flatten the meaning, miss the depth, miss the radical shift in perception it's actually aiming for.
Do you have an example that comes to mind?
Well, think about Workbook Lesson 34. I could see peace instead of this.
Okay, yeah. I could see peace instead of this.
Now, if you just read that without the Course's framework, how might someone interpret it?
Well, I suppose you might think it means, if you're stuck in traffic or having a bad day, you should just try to think peaceful thoughts instead. Like, choose a positive attitude.
That's a very common interpretation, isn't it? Focusing on managing your emotional reaction to an unpleasant situation, trying to feel calmer despite the external stuff.
Right, just overlaying a feeling of peace onto the stressful thing.
But within the Course's system, it means something much, much deeper. First off, what we see, our perception, isn't neutral.
It's always a projection, according to the Course.
Exactly. It's a reflection of our internal state, our chosen thought system, ego, or Holy Spirit. So perception isn't just receiving data from out there.
It's generating the experience from in here.
Right. And the peace it's talking about isn't just feeling a bit less stressed.
It's more fundamental.
Yes. It's the recognition of reality with a capital R, the state of oneness, the truth that lies beyond the ego's world of illusion and conflict. It's the peace of God.
Okay, so seeing peace is more like recognizing the underlying reality. And what about the this instead of this?
Ah, yes. This isn't just the traffic jam or the argument you had.
It's bigger than the immediate problem.
Much bigger. In the Course's context, this refers to the entire perceptual world, the whole experience of separation, bodies, time, space, the world the ego made as a substitute for heaven, for reality.
Okay, so I could see peace instead of this takes on a whole different meaning then.
Completely different. It becomes a recognition that the external problem, whatever it seems to be, is actually just an outward picture of my internal choice for the ego's thought system of separation.
It's a projection of the belief in separation itself.
Precisely. So the practice isn't just try to feel peaceful about the traffic. It's a powerful choice point. Am I going to keep projecting and seeing the world the ego shows me conflict, lack, fear, this? Or am I willing to choose the Holy Spirit's perception instead, to see peace, which means seeing past the illusion to the underlying reality of love and union? It's about shifting perception at the root level, not just managing symptoms.
That makes so much sense. It highlights how interconnected everything is in the Course.
It really is an integrated thought system. You can't just pull out one concept or one lesson in isolation and expect to fully grasp it. The parts illuminate the whole, and the whole gives meaning to the parts.
Understanding Lesson 34 really requires understanding the Course's view on perception, projection, peace, the ego.
All of it, which ties back to why context is so crucial.
And this points to the fact that the Course isn't just aiming for, say, self-improvement in the usual sense.
No, not at all. While you certainly might feel better or become kinder, that's more like a slight effect. The real goal is far more radical.
A fundamental shift in how we perceive everything.
Yes, a transformation of consciousness, an awakening to our true identity and our relationship with God, with reality itself.
And it acknowledges that this takes work. It's structured as mind training for a reason.
Definitely. It's gradual, it's systematic. It recognizes that we're trying to reverse deeply, deeply ingrained habits of thought. Thinking with the ego is automatic for most of us.
It requires patience and persistence.
And that's why it's sometimes called a path of undoing.
Undoing. How so?
Well, it's less about adding new beliefs or complex rituals and more about removing the blocks to the awareness of love's presence, which the Course says is our natural inheritance.
So dismantling the barriers we've built against recognizing the truth.
Exactly. Undoing the ego's thought system piece by piece.
It talks about aiming for universal experience, too. Not necessarily a single universal theology everyone has to agree on.
Right. The specific forms or symbols might differ, but the core experience points towards that awakening to oneness, to love, to peace that's potentially universal beyond doctrines.
But getting there, truly realizing that potential, seems to require going all in, doesn't it?
I think so. The Course itself suggests that its transformative power really unfolds when you commit fully to its thought system.
Not just picking and choosing the bits that sound nice or seem easy.
Right. Because it is a complete system. Applying it selectively might bring some comfort, but it likely won't lead to that fundamental perceptual shift it's designed to facilitate.
Which brings us back to the need for patient, consistent engagement with the whole thing.
Yes. Really sitting with the ideas, doing the lessons as intended, reading the text to understand the framework. It takes time and willingness.
So to wrap up, understanding the specific context of the Course's teachings is just non-negotiable for genuine insight and application.
Absolutely crucial. Without that context, you're likely working with a different map altogether, and you might not reach the destination the Course is pointing to. It underpins everything.
It makes me wonder then, and maybe this is something for our listeners to consider, how much are the standard everyday meanings we attach to words shaping our understanding, maybe even limiting our understanding of spiritual ideas?
That's a great question.
And what could potentially shift in our experience if we really allowed ourselves to reconsider those meanings within a new, coherent framework, like the one the Course offers? If any of our listeners have thoughts or questions that came up during this episode,
We'd genuinely love to hear from you.
please feel free to email us.
The address is ACIM@theworldharmonyproject.org.
That's ACIM@theworldharmonyproject.org.
We look forward to hearing your perspectives.